Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Nerds on Earth installment of the Punch List, coming at you every Wednesday with the nerdy news that you need to know. I'm Abram. Today I am just myself. After a week hiatus, I am back. Clave is absent for the time being. He may join us in a little bit. But let's get down to the news. So every Wednesday we give you the highlights of the past week as far as news is concerned, and we put out a little article over on Nerds on Earth. It's a website, and you can take a look at the article, and then we chat about that news Wednesday in the afternoon, usually around 4:15, 4:20, so we're a little late today. But let's just get into the news today. And actually, I think if I take my cutout away, I may have Clave joining us. It appears he has entered the chat, although I can't entirely hear him at the moment. There he is. He joins live right as the punch list begins.
A wizard is never early nor never late.
He arrived exactly as we were going to talk about number 7. Clave, how are you today?
Well, let's not talk about my family problems, because that might explain my absence. Let's just say that COVID is not necessarily easy on school-age children.
Oh no, Clave, that is not news. That's not news that we want on the punch list.
Oh, everyone's fine. Everyone's fine. Let's talk nerdy news.
All right, let's do it. I already did all the intro stuff, so we are ready to go on our punch list this week. Number 7. Guess what? More Marvel movie delays. We all saw it coming. It's been happening. The shows are all delayed. Everything's delayed except WandaVision, apparently. But you're not going to have any Marvel Studios, any MCU films coming out this year, which will actually mark the first time since Iron Man came out that we're not seeing a new Marvel movie in theaters. So we have Black Widow, Eternals, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings all have been delayed. Black Widow is now coming out May 7th of 2021. Clave, we needed some good news and we did not get it.
We did not get it. We did not get the good news we needed. My youngest calls it the poopy head coronavirus, and boy is she correct.
She is spot on.
We needed those Marvel movies, and we needed them badly just to give us a little bit of joy in our bleak 2020 lives. But I am the delays are bummers, but if we pause, we will get them, and they will be glorious. And to kind of offset that bad news, there have been some casting choices on some other Marvel shows on Disney Plus. So there's some good stuff in there, and it'll happen. And what I recommend to folks is start from the beginning at Iron Man 1, 2008, and watch them straight through. Go to nerdsonearth.com. We have a viewing order list for you. And my oldest daughter and I are watching through it again, and it's glorious. But gosh, we wish they weren't delayed because we want more of them.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I did a rewatch this year. You're doing a rewatch. I'm sure a lot of people have rewatched because we're craving that MCU. It's so good.
We need it.
So, if you want to read more about the delays, you can go over on Marvel. MCU will hit you up with all the new dates and all that stuff as well. So, check it out. Number 6, we have a Humble Bundle that is specifically R.A. Salvatore. So for $15, you can purchase over 30 Salvatore novels, including the majority of Legend of Drizzt. And all of that goes to Extra Life as the charity. Not all of it, obviously, because Humble Bundle's got to make a little bundle. But Extra Life is the charity that benefits from your donation.
How many Drizzt books have you read, buddy?
I can count them on one hand. I have not read many. And I think the last time I read one was more than 10 years ago now. But it was enjoyable. I think I just started in the middle of it.
Yeah, if I looked at that Humble bundle correctly, I think it starts on book 7. So like 7 through 30 or whatever. And so the first 3 is that's the core where you got to start. That's the legend of Drizzt, and it tells his humble beginnings. And then he comes up out of the Underdark, into the Forgotten Realms in Icewind Dale, which I think is so the 3 after that, like the Crystal Shard, those books, that trilogy is marvelous as well. So the first 6 books aren't a part of the Humble Bundle, if I'm looking at it correctly, but you got to read those books. And if you do, you're going to get hooked, and you're going to want to read 7 through 30. And you get this Humble Bundle, and you're set up. You got your iPad loaded up with sweet PDFs of book after book. But yeah, I mean, if you haven't looked into it, I think it's pretty great. A Drizzt action figure has just come out from Hasbro, from the HasLabs. So they're releasing an action figure. The latest D&D book, latest D&D 5e book, which I loved. Is Icewind Dale, that area that I just mentioned. So, yeah, I mean, if you're a nerd and you've never dabbled in Drizzt, get on it. It's a good time. There's some other multimedia things that could whet your appetite as well. I tuned my nephew into him, my 12-year-old nephew, and he's reading the first Drizzt books. So. It's good. It's the kind of fantasy. That's what I'm looking for. Like, not fantasy storyline. Little fantasy subgenre. That's a good fandom to get into.
Yeah, I really should go back and read. I remember I was at we were doing some winter camping in Scouts, and one of my fellow Scouts was telling me about Drizzt, and I was like, How you spell that? What were you talking about? What is this? What is this thing? And so he was like explaining the whole thing, and that's kind of where my first book that I read was based on that. But I really haven't read that many, so that is definitely something I gotta take a look at and see if I can wet my whistle, so to speak, on some Drizzt.
It's good characters, good action. Bob Salvatore, he's known for writing really nice fight scenes. And so the dual scimitar wielding Drizzt, there's a lot of nice action in there, which I like action. I don't know. I
like action.
That's why I'm here.
I'm a fan of action. I mean, it's a very good skill to have, and not one that many people have, because I know if I'm trying to write a fight scene, I just sort of resort to the same like 3 words, like slice, stab, and twirl, and
What do you need? Get over it quick. Just pierce it. Pierce the veil. So go ahead and check out that Humble Bundle. It's a very good deal if you want to get into the Drizzt fandom. Number 5, come on, is producing the Last of Us board game. You gotta say it with some enthusiasm. So the Last of Us, we've talked about before, because the latest game came out probably months ago now. But they've adapted the video game into the survival, post-apocalyptic, horror genre, presumably pretty narrative-based, just like the video game. So again, whenever you translate these IPs into a board game format, you kind of never know what you're going to get. Is it going to work? Is it not? But CMON has a pretty good track record, so we'll kind of see what they spit out. Yeah. I mean, CMON, the company formerly known as Cool Mini are known for their great minis and high production values and some really good games, the Blood Rage, and I am eagerly waiting on my copy of Zombicide 2nd edition to come in from the Kickstarter. I just got Marvel United that I haven't cracked, but yeah, they make great games. This is a great IP. I can't imagine they would in any way let out a stinker on this one. So I'd say this is a good one to keep an eye on.
I second that. So keep your weather ears on the horizon. plastered to the grass before it gets too cold.
Is it going to be a Kickstarter, I'm assuming? They love their Kickstarters.
I'm almost assuredly. I'm not sure if I can't remember if the link says or not. But probably a Kickstarter.
They make $2-3 million on their Kickstarters. Like I'm no economist, but I'm pretty sure if you have that kind of tracker, you're not going to turn away $2 million in pre-sales.
Right, exactly. So, I think we can assume it's probably going to be on Kickstarter.
Like it or love it, it's probably going to be Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Stretch goals and minis.
Right. So if you support it, who knows? More minis coming your way. That's usually what happens. Very cool. Check it out. Number 4 on the punch list. The Orange Years. It's a documentary that chronicles the rise, I don't know about the fall, of Nickelodeon in the 90s. I actually wouldn't say that Nickelodeon ever had a true fall. But it comes out on November 17th, and I mean, this was like my childhood was Nickelodeon, so I remember all the commercials of like the guy mowing the grass and it's like, you gotta call up and subscribe to Nickelodeon magazine and all this stuff. So it's a documentary that chronicles the entire 90s from the viewpoint, the kaleidoscope of Nickelodeon. Clave, you look like you may have dabbled in Nickelodeon once or twice.
Are you insulting my orange beard?
It wouldn't be a punch list if I didn't, right?
No, I'm an '80s kid, man. I'm an '80s kid, so I was dating the ladies in the '90s. Yeah, I mean, I know the high level stuff, the dumping the slime and all of that good stuff. If I take my kids to Nickelodeon universe at the Mall of America, but I have never done a deep dive into Nickelodeon.
Yeah, so it should be. I don't know. There's a lot to unpack, I guess, with Nickelodeon. I'm not sure like what kind of behind the scenes stuff or never before seen stuff we may see. Probably not much. Probably a lot of interviews and back footage and stuff. But yeah,
a lot of child stars. A lot of where are they now? I think
that would be.
That's worth the documentary in and of itself.
Yeah, I mean, are you afraid of the dark, Clave? I don't know. I can't remember if that's Nickelodeon or not. Let's try to think of a quip. So the Orange Years, interesting name. I kind of dig it. Coming in November for all of us. Number 3 on the punch list. More Come On! And Asmodee. Twilight Imperium and Android comics are on the way. So flipping the script by doing comics based on a board game, which can't be the most common thing in the world. But I'm not a resident comic expert. That's Clave. He knows every single board game that's ever been turned into a comic, right off the tip of his tongue.
Man, this is an interesting piece of news, and because I mean they're making these board games aren't even their properties. so you have CMON, which is a big board game company, making comics of board games that from Fantasy Flight, which is a really big board game company, and and meanwhile, isn't Fantasy Flight doing fiction in those universes as well?
I want to say yes. That kind of rings a bell.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think this is Renegade Games, which is another board game company that's maybe, I don't know, about the size of CMON, but they love this as well. As a lot of companies do, is these multimedia sort of things. Like, it's not just one product. It's like, how can we create a product that we can then leverage into different media types? This being graphic novels. And if you've ever been in a comic book shop lately, which probably haven't, because COVID. But pre-COVID, there's a lot of graphic novels and comics on the shelves, and so it's hard to find an audience there. And so you have this small niche market board game into a niche.
Right.
Yeah. So I can't imagine these are huge print run affairs. Maybe couple thousand copies, but I don't know. I think that's really nice because in these properties, people want stories, right? They want stories and characters. You know, everyone wants the Marvel universe, right? Where Marvel, they created their characters and stories first, and then they leverage that into IP that they license into board games, right? That Marvel Champions from Fantasy Flight that I love. But it'd be curious to see if you can take it the opposite direction, right? Like if you can start with that product and leverage it into stories and characters. That seems like it would be a heavier lift to me. But
yeah, we'll see what happens. Apparently, these may be paired with game components. So if they're sort of one-off uniques, that's probably going to boost the completionist, right? Yeah. So I don't know.
Us nerds are completionists. You give us a little tchotchke and we want it.
We got to have those promos. We need promos.
Gotta have them.
So very cool, very interesting. Good piece of news. Number 2 on the punch list this week, as we are rounding out the list here, Pokemon Sword and Shield has their second DLC that's been announced. It's called the Crown Tundra. And again, we're doing these snow-laden environments. You got Rime of the Frostmaiden. You got the Crown Tundra. So everybody's really gearing up for winter and hunkering down. So you're getting, again, same stuff that you kind of get with all Pokemon DLCs. You're getting different forms of existing Pokemon. You're getting legendary Pokemon, mythic Pokemon, as far as the eye can see. And that is coming on October 22nd, which is right around the corner.
Soon. Just 8 days before The Mandalorian Season 2.
Which one are you possibly going to spend more time on?
I'm not incredibly current on my Pokemon, Abram. So, but if you want me to talk about cold weather environments, I can as a Minnesotan talking to the southerner over here that's...
Southerner? I mean...
Wisconsin.
Southerner from Wisconsin.
Your warm weather climate.
I got that lake effect. Those Great Lakes, they keep us warm, like a nice blanket.
No, I'm not current on my Pokemon. I'm an '80s kid, and Pokemon is more of a '90s property, and that's where it got its hooks into kids. Mainly is from that point on. Did a little Pokemon Go with my girls, and but even that's just dabbling.
Yeah, I was obviously, as a 90s child, very into Pokemon when it first came out, the first couple generations, and then I sort of skipped some, and then got back into a generation, and then skipped a couple. I don't know. I'm on and off. It's too much. It's too much for me to deal with, and I got that nostalgia for the original ones that I grew up with. So all the ones like a trash bag Pokemon, they just don't speak to me anymore like the originals did. But always cool to have more content, more Pokemon. Kids still love it. It's not as big as it was, but still huge. So it's good stuff for nerds to get into. Is Pokemon. Number 1 on our punch list, the final item. It's a video. You should go over to PUNCHLIST over at nerdsonearth.com. Check out the video. We've got it linked there. It is the Truth Seekers trailer, which is a show coming to Amazon Prime. It features, who are they? Nick Frost and Simon Pegg and Samson Kao. Pegg and Frost from Shaun of the Dead fame, Hot Fuzz fame, all those classic sort of what do you call that genre? I don't even know what that genre is. It's a very unique form of comedy, I guess. Yeah. But it's a show that chronicles some paranormal. It's a sort of a paranormal comedy. The trailer is really good. I love the music in it. If they got that music, something similar playing throughout, I mean, they'll get me hooked. I was humming it for a while after I heard it. Clay, did you watch the trailer?
I did not. And where's the release? Is it Netflix, Amazon?
It is on Prime.
Prime, okay. No, I didn't watch the trailer. I saw the chatter about it, a little bit of commentary in the Nerds on Earth Discord. But I've had a busy day and didn't check out the trailer. But yeah, with that pedigree, that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it'll end up being really good. So I got the date right here, October 30th. So right after you finish watching Mando.
Yeah, I gotta go. Yeah, why would you release it on Mandalorian season 2 day?
That's competition.
Holy holiday.
They're going face to face. They're going up with big Mandalorian. I don't know. Man. Maybe they're hoping people will be like, oh, I just watched one episode of Mandalorian, and I need to watch something else now because there's only one Mando episode. But if they're like you or me, you're just going to go rewatch Mando 3 times. That seems like the right thing to do.
Totally.
So.
Well, we should do a review on it on nerdsonnerd.com.
Maybe we will. Maybe we'll even do Mando reviews. I don't know.
Maybe we'll do those weekly.
Wouldn't that be something? I bet the people have clamored for that since season 1 ended. So, I don't know. You guys will have to stay tuned to the site to find out. Spoiler, we are. Number 7 on the punch list as we break it down for you one more time. Marvel movie delays. There's tons of them. Nothing coming this year, but next year we are getting a cornucopia possibly. Number 6, the R.A. Salvatore Humble Bundle is live. You can get over 30 Drizzt novels. Number 5, CMON to produce The Last of Us board game. Number 4, the Orange Years documentary chronicling the rise of Nickelodeon in the 90s. Number 3, Twilight, Imperium, and Android comics are on the way from CMON and Asmodee. Number 2, Pokemon Sword and Shield's second DLC has been announced, The Crown Tundra. You know, they call Lambeau Field the Frozen Tundra, just saying. Number 1, Truth Seekers trailer was released over at Amazon Prime. You can get that at the end of October, day before Halloween, same day as Mando. And that's really what we all want is more Mando. We should just turn this into the Mando fan cast.
I would not fight you.
It already pretty much is. I think we talk about Mando every week, which is great. But that's the punch list. That's the news from the past week. You are now caught up. You are now well-versed in the realm of nerds and everything nerdy and all the news.
Abram, you're awesome, buddy.
You too, Clave. Thanks for joining and talking news. And we will see you all nerds later.
Later, nerds.